Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. We just had an in-depth discussion on how to make money and years, how to protect it, how to protect your loved ones as well. That's the segment that we'll be talking about, or rather that's the topic we'll be talking about in this segment. And you guessed it, it's about life insurance. Now, interestingly, we have LIC that's actually, got quite a flexible option for a lot of you individuals out there. If you think that life insurance premiums are something that you don't want to spend your money on, well, turns out that you actually do not have to spend a lot of your money thanks to something called as micro insurance plans. And if you don't know which company to choose, well, industry leader LIC is always here and it has your back. It has 3 micro insurance plans, the micro budget plan, the Jeevan Mangal, as well as the Bhagya Lakshmi plan. So what exactly are micro insurance plans and what's the difference between these 3 plans? Which ones, in fact, are also getting discontinued by the 31st of Jan? I have with me Naval Goel, founder and CEO of PolicyX.com. Naval, thanks so much for joining us on The Money Show. So just give our viewers an introduction. What exactly are micro insurance plans in the life insurance category? I know for a fact that you literally do have these bite-sized insurance and health insurance, but how does it essentially work when it comes to life insurance?
Right, Rubina. So basically, these plans are launched specifically for lower income segment people. So basically, they are plans with very, very low sum assured in the range of 20,000 to 50,000. So they basically have all the features that a normal insurance plan would have. The only major difference is that they are launched specifically for lower income segment, and therefore their sum assured is lower, and therefore accordingly they are also sold through various micro insurance agents, which does not require a lot of certification, etc. So this step was taken by IRDA, and LIC henceforth launched the plan so that insurance penetration in India can increase, which is currently at a very low level of 3.7% compared to most developed nations in the range of 6 to 10%.
Okay, all right. So, but you mentioned it's meant for low income people, but is it something that's open to every category of income, or is it only if you have a certain level of income that doesn't exceed a certain cap?
No, anybody can buy it for sure, but
okay.
For people with higher income category, these plans would not make sense because obviously the sum assured is so low, so you would not be adequately covered if you buy a low sum assured plan. So these are specifically designed for lower income people, and they have lesser stringent criteria for basically acceptance of the policy. For example, if you buy a term plan, you need income proof, etc., etc. But for a micro insurance plan, the requirement would be much lesser.
Okay. All right, fine. Now let's talk a bit about these plans. Now, Naval, I understand out of these 3 micro insurance plans, I suppose one of them is being discontinued, by essentially LIC. If you could take us through which one that is, and if you could share the features of the Balance 2 plans, how does it differentiate from the other?
Right. So LIC had launched 3 types of plans. So basically, one is more of a regular premium non-linked participating plan, which is more like a traditional plan where you invest X amount and you get a certain percentage, return on it. The second is Jeevan Mangal plan, which is more of a protection plan. So it's kind of a term plan with return of premium feature. So this category is purely a term plan with the TROP that you call it, the term return of premium plan. And the third one is Bhagya Lakshmi, which is a non-participating limited payment plan. Basically these 3 plans are catering to the 3 segments, which is protection, investment, and non-participating investment. So these are the 3 categories of plans.
Okay. All right, fine. So there you have it. That's of course about these micro insurance policies. By the way, Naval, since we are talking about those contracts that are being discontinued by LIC, what exactly are the ones that are being discontinued? I understand there are certain non-linked policies that are being discontinued, and what does it mean for those existing policy holders?
So this is a normal exercise where LIC keeps discontinuing a lot of plans which were launched in the past based on market trends. But this time specifically, the discontinuation of plan was was at a much higher rate because of new regulations launched by IRDA. So IRDA had put forth certain conditions for plans to be launched by life insurance companies, which made basically more transparent, and the features were more dictated by IRDA. So henceforth LIC had to discontinue about 20-25 plans from life insurance category, and in fact Bhagya Lakshmi plan, which is a micro insurance plan, has also been discontinued. So but existing policyholders need not worry, because whenever a plan is launched, it is a contract with the policyholder. So if it is a 20-year contract and the plan was launched in, let's say, 2007, so it has to honor those commitments till 2027, till all the plans, all the policies are expired or honored. So existing policyholders need not worry whether they have bought a plan which has been discontinued or not. So those will be honored, and only for the new policy holders this rule comes into play, because they will not be able to buy plans which have been discontinued.
Okay, so existing policy holders don't need to worry. By the way, Naval, you were speaking about the suitability as well for this micro insurance policy, and you mentioned how for high income earners it really doesn't make sense to go for a micro insurance. It essentially may not be suitable for them. So for our low income earners as well, as hopefully their income increases year after year, hopefully by watching the Money Show, would you as well recommend them then to move out of these micro insurance plans?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last one.
So essentially, would you recommend that the low income category as well, the minute they believe that, now they are being able to afford a full-fledged or a regular life insurance policy, they should simply move out of this micro insurance policy and take your regular term insurance?
Yes, definitely. So the only difference that they would see in micro insurance versus other insurance plans is that the eligibility criteria is less stringent, and the medical tests are waived off, and so on and so forth. So basically there is not much variation in terms of the features of the policy. It is only just that entry barrier has been removed so that more and more people can participate. So yes, as the income increases, they have to anyways go for a regular plan, because then they have to buy a plan with those criterias in place. Because obviously if you need a higher sum assured, it is a higher risk for insurance companies, and therefore they want to make sure that they are writing the they are doing the proper risk assessment before actually taking the customers.
Okay, that makes sense. It's essentially, micro insurance plans are just essentially a lower eligibility criteria. Naval, just before I let you go, we just have 4 days left for budget 2020. Anything on your wish list that you would like to see for the insurance sector?
Yes, a lot actually. So basically, as I was talking about insurance penetration, so in India in 2009, the penetration was about 5.5%, which has come down to 3.7%. So government should take a lot of steps to increase the penetration levels. So a few of them would be definitely, GST is a big component of the premium that customers pay, and 18% is, I think, a very high GST rate for insurance premiums. So if the government really wants to increase the penetration and want more people to actually cover themselves, they should do away with GST or come up with a lower rate of GST, at least for life insurance and health insurance, because these two are actually life-saving things, and all the people should be definitely covered. So this definitely increases the social security in the country. The second is definitely, ATC benefit. As we have seen, the government has raised the limit for ATC exemption in the last few years. Constantly, it has come down from 50,000 to 1.5 lakhs. So I think there is room for further improvement there, because most people who are buying life insurance, they want to buy a term plan as well as an investment plan. So usually, this rate can actually go up to, let's say, 2 lakhs from 1.5 lakhs, which is currently in place. The third thing is, for the pension scheme, there is a tax which is applicable. So they should bring parity with the national pension scheme, because national pension scheme does not, the benefit from national pension scheme is not taxable. But if you invest in a private pension plan, that is taxable. So I think the government should remove, because in any case government wants to improve the pension involvement of the people or of the economy. And finally, the most important thing is term insurance. So we have seen significant rise in term insurance coverage in the last few years. People have become aware of the protection plan. Earlier, most of the agents were selling traditional plans which has very low coverage. So to further give an increase in the penetration of term insurance, the government should ideally have a separate tax exemption limit for term insurance, and it should not be included in the ATC benefit. It should be separate from that, so that people are aware of the term plans and they go for it. So I think that is it from my wish list for the budget.
Hope FM Nirmala Sitharaman, grants you your wishes, and of course for all our policy holders as well. Thank you so much, Naval, for joining in on this edition of The Money Show. We'll take a very short break, but when we return in our Spend with TMS segment, we are going to be talking about gold, how it's glittering and how it may be the reason why that brides are now shying away as they opt for platinum. So what exactly is the wise choice? What are the trends then that we are witnessing in jewelry? We will be joined by Snehal Choksi of Shobha Shringar Jewelers to talk about that, so stay tuned.